Good afternoon, everybody. Last full day, last day at all in New Mexico, and we are taking a little hike in a wildlife refuge along the Rio Grande. It is currently 96 degrees Fahrenheit right here. We might get a little shade from one of these storm clouds that are building up, but otherwise, that was a pretty bird. It's going to be a scorcher out here, so I'm hoping that the water might bring out a few things before we head further north and east to gonna check out a little mountain spring before cruising the northeast plains. So we'll see what we can find.
Unfortunately, the hot weather resulted in predictably mostly just birds at a distance being seen in this area. Still some cool birds in a few cases, but wildlife was relatively sparse and few between. It wasn't until I got near the bathrooms that I actually found interesting stuff.
There's a roadrunner. And there he goes. Well, I stopped to use the restroom at the wildlife refuge and finally found a reptile. And he's quite the looker, honestly. This is a pretty common animal, Udostens boreana, side-blotched lizard, found all across the desert southwest from central Texas through New Mexico, western Colorado, Utah, Arizona. But as you can see here, the males, when it's their breeding season and they're ready to go, they get absolutely fired up with color. He's got blue spots all the way down his back, yellow on his sides, and of course the little blotch on the side, which gives them their name. This is probably the most colorful example I have ever seen. Also, for those who might be wondering, yes, this is a safe means for handling the lizard. I'm very gently restraining his legs on one side so that he doesn't get away, and that way I am not squishing the body cavity at all, so I can see him fully. He's not able to get away, but I'm not risking any injury to him either. Anyway, so like most lizards, these guys are active in the heat of the day, so this is most of what you're likely to see when it's currently 98 degrees outside. But cool little animal, and we will let him back on his way because we've already got a few photos. I think I'm gonna get one more.
Now real quick, I want to do a little bit of a comparison. You can flip back and forth between the video sections as well, or these two first photos followed by the last two photos that are running here. The difference in color in this animal. When they get fired up, the colors really change spectacularly on these guys.
Alright, not sure what occurred, but he is suddenly fired up here. His colors have gone really bright. Like he is glowing blue. Look at that tail. Look at that tail there. He is glowing blue. So they do change color depending on their temperature and their mood. When they're fired up, they get really bright. Anyway, he's probably had enough of me, so I'll let him go up the wall. And there he goes. Well, we got Dare. Hello, Dare. Goodbye, Dare. Another deer. Hello, Dare. And goodbye, deer. I've seen quite a few on this trip.
After the deer, nothing else was seen in the area, so I headed north a couple hours to the mountains east of Albuquerque to a natural area that has a spring running through it, and was greeted by this guy.
So I'm now in the mountains east of Albuquerque, watching this guy do I have no idea what here. I think if you're planning on laying eggs, I'm not sure that's the greatest spot. But It's kind of cool right here, but that's right in the middle of the wash. They'll get washed away. What are you doing? Digging away in there. So I'm not sure if it was recently planted here, but there's a couple of apple trees growing up here. And the apples have been falling, so they might already be ripe even at this size.
But even up there, lizards were the only reptiles to be seen. So I turned my attention towards the northern plains in New Mexico, only to be greeted by massive storms. I don't know what it is about New Mexico, but it produces some of the biggest, most terrifying looking storms I have ever seen. And we'll see more of this on future videos when I'm coming back from Arizona and Texas trips. Got hit almost every time. Made the temperatures drop really quickly, which is not so great for reptiles, but other herps do abound after it rains.
So trying to, trying to drive on the upper plains here has not worked out too well yet. But we appear to have some little spadefoot toads moving around. I believe that this is a young Mexican spadefoot. And there is something else making weird noises up ahead on the road. It's a little bit cold for snakes, but we might find some cool toads out here at least. We'll see. Let's get you off the road, dude. And our classic Woodhouse's toad, leaving a present on the road. Ugh. There's a couple of these guys out here. You should go that way, sir. Okay? Go. So it's definitely a little too chilly out for snakes to be on the move. And absolutely soaking wet out here because the photos that I showed earlier from this set of storms, it's a line moving straight down the front of New Mexico. Some of the biggest, most frightening looking storms I have ever seen. And it is non-stop lightning out here. There's bats flying around. There's a toad somewhere in the background, not sure what kind. I haven't seen the green toads that I really want to see. Don't know if they're in this canyon or not, but I think I'm probably going to have to call it a night soon and hope for maybe an early start tomorrow morning. Alright, somebody else a little bit different. It's a red-spotted toad in this canyon, right on the wall. So let's get him off the road. Come on. No, you go that way, sir. You are weird looking. You know that? Very weird looking. Go that way. He got bothered by a bug that was going by, but we got something other than toads moving across the road now out here. Beautiful barred tiger salamander, Ambystoma mavortium. Out here they're a lot less likely to be, oops, come here dude. A lot less likely to be mixed breed like they are in a lot of other places where fishermen have introduced populations. There's not a whole lot of lakes out here for people to bring larvae out to. See those beautiful colors, and quite a large salamander too. A little sad that this is the only salamander that I have seen in New Mexico, but, well, we'll take what we can get, I guess. It's so hard to keep from bleaching out his colors here. He's quite pretty. Anyway, we're just going to move him off the road in the direction he was going so that he doesn't get run over by anybody else, because there's way more cars out here than there should be. Well, as the storms apparently decide to come back in, here's a Great Plains spadefoot toad to kind of round out the mix out here. We'll get him going on his way. There he goes. Alright, I'm kind of risking it here, but this is an even bigger, prettier tiger salamander crossing the road. Big male, who is now in a hurry, I guess. Very beautiful black barring. And they jump when you touch them. Jump, jump. There he goes, off the road. Cool. Oh man, there's hail out here. But like the storms are like spontaneously developing right above me. So we gotta book it back to the mountains. So I assume this is like a pocket gopher or something. They've been running all over the road, and this is the first time one's stuck around long enough for me to actually stop and see it. Weird little creature. So today didn't go quite as well as I had hoped. No snakes this time around, although a couple cool lizards at least. I certainly don't envy anyone who is currently in eastern New Mexico or northwest Texas in the Panhandle. Those are terrifying storms. Anyway, we are back in southern Colorado at the moment, and I am probably going to try and take one more Hail Mary trip into one of the hot spots of the southeast here to try and pick up a couple more species if I can. So fingers crossed, we'll see you in the morning. Well, folks, we're out here in southeast Colorado, and we're starting our day with several lizards and a Massasauga. Massasauga is going to sit there for a second, so I'm going to see if I'm going to get one of the lizards. Got ourselves a young Massasauga. Actually, not young. This is probably full grown. Sitting out on the road here. This is kind of a special population since this is far southern, southeast Colorado. And they don't come too much further south than this around here. Our smallest rattlesnake species in the state. And the only one not in the genus Crotalus. This is Cistrurus, the pygmy rattlesnakes. Cool little guy. Yeah, right at the end there he started to book it off the road, so I tried getting video on my other camera, only for it to fail on me and leave me with a couple of photos of the guy hiding in the grass. We just kind of left him where he was, since he was off the road. It was a back dirt road, not a whole lot of people going down it, and moved on to find a couple of cool lizards. Alright, just had a couple of people who were out looking for reptiles out here earlier stop by. This guy's apparently bleeding in defense on me a little bit here. This is a lesser earless lizard, Holbrookia maculata. In an earlier video we saw the bleached earless subspecies that lives down in white sands. This is the more common widespread variation, typical colors. This is a male who is not in breeding colors anymore. Must be past that season. They get really interesting, like peachy colors oftentimes when they're breeding. But otherwise, it's classic blotchiness, and of course earless lizard because, well, they don't have any ears. Anyway, we've already gotten a couple of photos, so we're just gonna put them across the road over here and let them go. Go. No, seriously, are you playing dead? What are you doing, dude? Okay, we'll put you in the grass there, okay? You are fine. You may go. Yep, he's gonna play dead, so we'll leave him in the shade there. Alright, nearly lost this guy off the road. This is my first Texas horn lizard from Colorado. Doesn't quite compare in color to the ones we were seeing down in New Mexico, but still an adorable little pancake. This guy was sitting on the road and I just barely saw him fly off. I got lucky finding him again in the weeds here. He's just kind of hanging out a little bit. Anteaters, they do really well out in this very open, scrubby grassland with absolutely no landscape features to speak of. That's the kind of places they like.
And as you might imagine, that open, featureless gravel landscape is a really good place for a camouflage for a flat, spiky lizard covered in dark spots.
Anyway, we've already gotten a few photos, so we'll just put him right back down here. See if he stops pancaking or not. There he goes. It's not much. Oh, there he goes. A really cool looking whiptail there. And he's gone.
And unfortunately, this was the only photo that I managed to get of that girl before she disappeared. And I say girl because, again, this beast of checkered whiptail, just like the Chihuahuan spotted we saw earlier in the video, is entirely female. They're an odd triploid lizard that reproduces through parthenogenesis, where one female will actually pretend to be a male and trigger both females in the mating act to end up laying eggs.
Alright folks, and unless we find something right at the end of this dirt road somewhere, I think that's just about a wrap. Southeast Colorado coming in to save us with one more snake for the trip, and another Texas horned lizard, which is also cool. Anyway, there's a lot of species that we missed out on, so I think if I come back down, I need to do so a little bit later in the year, again after the monsoons have really started to come in, and after all the baby snakes have been dropped, because I saw one baby diamondback, so I'm just a little early for that flush of extra reptiles to find. So maybe August next year, but next trip is going to be in August, heading towards West Texas. I've already got the funding for that, although could always use help building up funds for Arizona the month after that. If you'd like to see more photos, little tidbits that'll come from like this trip and so on, and extra little bits, you can always find me on social media, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook at Carlton Carnivores. If you'd like to help fund productions of educational materials like this, consider joining at patreon.com/hcarlton. You get early access to the videos there, other exclusive benefits like the monthly seed contest that I do. Or there's also one-time donations can be taken at coffee.com. That link will be in the video description below, as well as the link to the website, carltoncarnivores.com, where you can find all of the various plants and sometimes baby snakes that I have available for sale. Also access to the database and the blog there for more information. And of course, also just support the channel by liking the videos, leaving comments, subscribing, sharing the videos. Attention will help, because very soon I should be able to start monetizing, and that can help support even more trips, finding more wildlife to bring to you. But until next time, hopefully down in Texas somewhere, I'm Hawk and Carlton.